guys, welcome to another live video. In this video we're going to be talking about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. If this is your first time in one of these lives, we make lives every weekend and we talk about the Bible. So we study the Bible, we're reading the Bible from the beginning all the way to the end. So in these lives you're not going to be like having me reading one book of the Bible in one live and then another book in another one, because we're reading the Bible in consecutive order. So from Genesis chapter 1 all the way to the last chapter of Revelation. So right now we're gonna read chapter 19 and we're gonna start in verse 15. This is because chapter 19 verse 1 all the way to verse 14 we read it in the past live from well, we do every week, but today I did two. I did one on Saturday and then this is the second one. So basically we do it in consecutive order right now because we already read in the last live from chapter 19 verse 1 all the way to verse 14. We're gonna continue in this live from verse 15 all the way to verse 29. And this is because we're gonna be reading about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. So in the last live, we read that these two angels went to Sodom and Gomorrah to destroy the city, and they found Lot, who is Abraham's nephew, and they went to save him basically from the destruction. They told him to grab his family members and just ran away from the city because God was going to destroy the city. So it says that Lot had two sons-in-laws, and they didn't believe him, so they stayed in the city and died there. So basically Lot escaped with his wife and his two daughters. So we're going to be reading that in this life. We're going to be reading how God destroyed the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. And then in the next live, we're going to finish the chapter. We're not going to finish it in this live. We're going to finish it in the next one. Because in verse 30 all the way to verse 38. 38. It talks about Lot and his daughters, which is a very interesting story. So let's get started. So in chapter 19 verse 15 it says, "With the coming of the dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, 'Hurry, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished.' This happened at dawn." This is very important because later on we're gonna see sunrise, what happens during sunrise. So they told Lot, "Hurry, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished." When he hesitated, the man grasped his hand in the hands of his wife and of his two daughters and led them safely out of the city. For the Lord was merciful to them. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, "Flee for your lives. Don't look back and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains or you will be swept away." But Lot said to them, "No, my lords, please, your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in sparing my life. But I can't flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me and I'll die. Look, here's a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared." He said to him, "Very well, I will grant this request too. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly because I cannot do anything until you reach it. This is why the town is called Zoar." By the time Lot reached Zoar, the sun had risen over the land. So basically we have, by the time he reached this other town, it was already sunrise, right? Remember that during dawn, the angels urged Lot to flee away from the city. And then during sunlight, Lot was over to reach Zoar. So it says that then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities in the entire plain, destroying all those living in the cities, and also the vegetation in the land. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. So basically, Lot's wife was disobedient. Remember that the angels told Lot and his family to not look back to the destruction. And because the wife of Lot looked back, she became a pillar of salt. And this is very interesting because all of this happened around the Dead Sea. And we know that the Dead Sea has 30% salt in its waters. And because of this many salt, you can float in the Dead Sea. Like the grounds of the Dead Sea, it looks like ice because of all the salt that it has. And it's very interesting that Sodom and Gomorrah was around, like in some place around the Dead Sea. It's some people even believe, they have studied it, that there's even a map that says that Sodom and Gomorrah were like where the Dead Sea is right now. So basically, from all this destruction, the Dead Sea was formed. So it's very interesting because you know how she became a pillar of salt, and then the Dead Sea is filled with salt. And also, the salt that's in the Dead Sea, it contains sulfur. So it's very interesting because I learned today that when you mix sulfur with fire, with like burning sulfur, it like turns into these these toxic gases. And these toxic gases are, some of them has some type of salt. So it's very interesting to know that probably the salt from the Dead Sea was created because of all this destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, because the salt contains sulfur in it. So it's very interesting. And then it says in verse 27, early the next morning, Abraham got up and returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah, towards all the land of the plain, and he saw dense smoking rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham, and he brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived. So Lot was saved by God because of Abraham, right? Because God knew that Abraham loved Lot. And because God loved Abraham, he decided to save Lot and his family. So yeah, basically that's it. That's all we're going to be reading in this live. We're going to be talking about what happens next to Lot and his daughters, because remember that they don't have he doesn't have a wife anymore, and they don't have a mother anymore. So it's very interesting to see what happens. I'm pretty sure you guys know already what happened, but it's still very interesting to read it. So in the next live for next week, we're going to finish this chapter from verse 30 all the way to verse 38. So thank you guys for being here. I'll see you in the next live. God bless you.